All right, so for week 3 course project, question 7 touches on organizational structure. Where do you think that, looking at myself, where would I most thrive or where would I find most difficult? And would I want to pursue a functional career path or generalist career path? In my current firm, I am in the staffing industry. I have recruited on numerous divisions. We have a legal division. I've been an attorney recruiter. I've done finance and accounting recruitment. I've done healthcare recruitment. I've done scheduling. So at my company, even though it's divisional form on paper, it's really much more of a network form, which I found quite ideal. I'd like to be, in all sorts of different aspects of business operations there. I found as a young professional, being able to do so many different divisions and industries, you kind of move from one thing to another, to another, to another. I found to be extremely beneficial, kind of spices things up. And I feel like in the long term, as I, get a little older, start a family, I would like to focus on more of a functional career path, even though I think a generalist career path at the moment is beneficial as I kind of build my repertoire amongst many things. I could sell myself later to something a little more functional, a little more secure in that aspect. Functional would be most difficult now, I think, for me. I think network is probably the one I'd want to go for the moment. But again, hopefully transitioning into something a little more functional down the line as my career progresses and become more senior and, want to be a little more established with a family and things that nature. I sort of think about it sort of like building, let's say, a TV stand. If you go to IKEA, where everything's very functional, right? You have to, one piece equals one piece. You know what you're going to get. It's very clean cut versus sort of, maybe a network type situation where you're kind of making it yourself, right? You're getting the lumber, you're putting things together, you're creating your own kind of thing, a little bit of mix. So I kind of think about it sort of like that as a prop. So question 8 from chapter 8 touches on subcultures. Why should an organization be concerned about the development of subculture, and when can subcultures be beneficial for organization? That is the question for chapter 8. As you can see, subcultures could be positive, negative, or neutral, as you kind of see in the reading, and just in real life as well. I think we've all seen subcultures in the places we've worked, or at least, maybe in other organizations as well. Maybe sporting organizations or social organization are part of outside of work. There are subcultures among them. Part of this could be geographical, as the reading mentions. I know I worked for a company that our corporate headquarters was very, very suit and tie. Everything is very business professional, no nonsense. Everyone showed up in a suit, with a tie. Sometimes you got away with not a tie, but usually it has to be a full thing. Where we had other offices in the same company, maybe 50 miles away, there were, polos and khakis, long khakis, of course, khaki pants, but completely different things depending on geographical area, different subcultures, things like that nature. Even other companies have been a part of some divisions, they're working 40 plus hours a week. It's standard. In other divisions of the same company, another subculture, they won't work more than 40. It's a hard cap. They're not going to work a second more than they have to. Others, they're kind of expected to work overtime all the time. Again, other subcultures where that's appropriate, not appropriate. Definitely be hard to mesh two different subcultures as among an organization. You can see that definitely, different like leadership styles and what's appropriate, not appropriate, what's acceptable to an employee versus what's acceptable to an employee in another division. Some subcultures seem to be more happy and productive than others, but again, really hard to kind of make that fit amongst companies. There are several subcultures. It can be very difficult. Chapter 9 touches on the differences between training and development. As the reading shows, I think all of us have been part of organizations, whether they be work, social, outside, where there is both a original training and then followed by development. So for training, the first couple weeks on the job, you're going to get training. That might be basic orientation. Here's your laptop, here's the software we use, here's your company email. I know mine, we have anti-sexual harassment training. They went over like a hierarchy map, like here's where all the folks are from the company, where they are, contact points, who to call for this and that. Business practices, let's say some jobs might be a little more in-depth with training. Let's say you work for like a restaurant or a call center or Something like that where things are very rigid. You might have a kind of more strict training than something maybe more sales. Of course, there might be sales training as well, but more mechanical. Every company usually has some sort of training, maybe KPIs or direct and indirect reports. But training is sort of in the short term, just to get you up to speed, get the basics behind you, you know what I mean, the firm ground. Development is a long journey, right? So the long term, it's developing, employees into better employees post their training, and even developing employees into senior employees later. I know at my firm, we have employees who started 10, 20, years ago as, more entry level, who have through development became high managers, even vice presidents of the company. So development is sort of a long journey. It's something they're trying to develop you into your career path as you go through the company, where training is kind of that short-term aspect. So you kind of want to think long versus short-term based on the reading and I think examples from real life.